Welcome, everybody, back to our What the Tech podcast. For the viewers here, I'm a new host. My name is Onyeka at Purse of IT, and this is season 2 for all of you. And for season 2, we're diving into AI, which is the topic almost everywhere. And what we want to do is actually to also tell stories with regards to AI and people's journey into that relative to what you know, what you don't know, what you're learning, everything in between. And to help us with that, I've actually brought on board an amazing guest here. Her name is Johanna. So, Johanna, if you could actually please introduce yourself to our viewers, just let them know a bit about what you do, the team you lead, and yeah.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Hello, everyone. So I'm Johanna. I work for 10 Group, and I'm the head of operations there for the North America region. We are a global company and we provide a concierge service. So it's basically anything if you think about the members that we serve, the services we provide. So especially me in operations, it's if somebody of our members is traveling in Japan and all of a sudden needs a private chef to do a sushi class for them. That's where they give us a shout and we kind of organize that for them. So a lot of the things we have to really be good in is tailoring everything, being very
Mhm.
member focused, but as well having a quick turnaround time. And I think that's one of the big things that have changed in the times of AI.
Oh,
It's kind of one of our biggest competitors, right? Because everybody can
oh,
have AI in the pocket.
yes, yes.
And if you prompt right, like that's something to look at. So that's something very interested to observe from our industry. Yeah, so we started looking a lot into AI. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about this with you.
Thank you, Hannah. I like what you said there about even that response time aspect of things. Are you finding that this could even be you and me and others who use AI outside of work? Are people more or less patient because of having AI in terms of that access to information?
I think there's two sides, right? There is the client side and then there's a member
Hmm.
side. So, of course, the
Hmm.
clients are the ones that we service their members. So, I think clients expect a much quicker response time now, but also the
Hmm.
members. So, I would say, yeah, there's less patience around. In a certain time frame, if you don't provide that they expect to see, and they maybe did the same search on their AI or asked similar questions, and they come out with a better, like there's certain AIs down out there that actually specialize, right, in like itinerary building, things like that. So I think expectations are high and we need to provide the quality. But that's what I like to do with our industry, or what we thought with our company is, even though we want to use AI and we want to improve efficiencies with it and
Hmm.
kind of get the information quicker for our members and quality information. But what we don't want to lose is the human aspect. Because on the other hand, a tailored high-end concierge, that's what it needs, right? It needs this
Right.
human aspect. You don't only want to speak to a machine or a robot and get
True.
quickly an answer. You want this person that can mirror how you feel and kind of understand exactly what you're
Oh,
looking at and kind of like adding in these extra details. So I think it is a balance for us in our industry. But I would say, if I think about it, like, yeah, people are less patient now that AI is around, because it's also the risk of, right? Like, if you disappoint one time, it's very
right.
difficult to win somebody back. If you then have to you're trying to win somebody back, you have to really provide them with an exceptional experience so that that memory is kind of deleted of the
Right.
disappointment.
Right. Right. That's a good point, Deletion.
Yeah, but I think it's very similar in the use of AI. And I think that's one of my biggest challenges when implementing it with my operations. When you test it the first time and you are disappointed, maybe you didn't prompt correctly, maybe you don't understand, you just kind of are used to a certain tool and you think, I just have to write I don't know, a prompt of like 5 words. Obviously, the outcome is very different than when you put thought into it and understand it. We wanted to really embrace AI from the beginning. So we
Mhm.
started, but then maybe results weren't as good with our tools. So the agents that have been using it
Mhm.
maybe are not that encouraged to use it because the results that came out weren't reliable and they didn't feel it was a time saver. So again,
Right.
it takes a lot of this winning them back over and showing them, hey, this is how you do a great prompt and this is how it can help you.
Right. And it makes sense because it's the first prompt might not be the best one. And like it's it's okay for that to happen because you're going to learn how to be better with the prompting as you interact with it. But yeah, the patience level is definitely needed. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you have that perspective to encourage though.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun about AI. You need to convince everybody, and everybody thinks of
Yeah.
it different.
Hmm.
It's kind of a game, right? Like, how
Hmm.
do I tailor this to get the best examples? It's fun when I teach the agents or when we talk about this, like, okay, you can tell it learned from us how
Hmm.
to react. So if you tell it, take a deep breath before you give me the answer, all of these fun things, a lot of people
Interesting.
don't think about it, but then
Right.
really the prompt really changes, and it's encouraging for them to like utilize it then again. But I
Hmm.
think it is one of those things you need to have fun with it. You need to, I think, be very agile and open for change if you want to embrace AI.
Ah, yes, and I do like that because it's even more of I think you're already even speaking to this question about like how do you lead through this like in terms of the AI boom itself because you lead a team, your own perspective and the way you use or react or interact with the tool is going to have a lot of implications for others who you want to do the same. I'm glad you're having fun. Like what else were the feelings? Maybe it's even before till now.
No, I think it's exciting because it's kind of
Mm,
the unknown, right? Like
right.
nobody, it's something completely new and everybody has to learn it. And I think this is always great because that's like you're on a blank slate and it
Right.
develops so quickly. So what was good yesterday maybe isn't working right now anymore. Or you have a different tool, you have a different way, somebody unlocks something. So I think change management with anything that
Mm.
you do on a team is always super important because in the beginning everybody is going to first push back on change and people won't like it's always uncomfortable,
It
right? Like
is
because
though.
you're set in your ways, but
True.
only really good things can come out of change because if otherwise you wouldn't
You wouldn't need
like
it
out
even.
now there is
Yeah.
yeah you wouldn't. And so I think that is something that I think is really important when convincing or like kind of changing the mindset of the team. It's like, so the way that I did it,
Hmm.
and in our company, a lot of regions did it differently, but we decided to have kind of like co-pilot because that's the tool of choice that we use, or
Right.
co-pilot ambassadors.
Okay.
So I worked with a smaller group because it's much easier than to go with all the,
Yeah.
like all of
Like a
our
pilot on a
operations
test.
team.
Yep.
Yeah. So with them, utilize it, really advocate it, really work with them with the prompting and kind of feed Copilot as well with the
Mm.
format that we would like to get. So very quickly, it started giving us really the format that we wanted for our internal documentation programs, things like that,
Okay.
because in the beginning it doesn't, right? And then but if
No,
you
still
keep
learning.
teaching it, yeah, and then after a while it knows. So then the challenge is when we change internally to a different kind of, maybe first started with a Teams agent and then you move
Oh,
over to a different kind of program. But within Copilot, like the online version, for instance, then it's you have to reteach it. So
you
that's a
do.
little bit of the change,
Oh.
which takes a little bit of time. But I think because we had that experience in the beginning,
Hmm.
the motivation to do it and for everybody to kind of hang in there is,
I love that.
yeah, you need to, because
You
like
do.
you said, patience. It's like
Patience.
to
Uh-huh.
utilize it, you need
Hmm.
the patience. And I think that is something that really helped. And then again, also to find a couple of people who are really excited about it,
Oh, okay.
because there is always, you have a lot of different employees, right?
Of
And like
course.
some people are more interested in new tech developments, things like
True.
that. If you know your team and you know who to go to and who can advocate it around. So I think that really helped us in kind of like getting people excited to use the tools. And then now the second challenge is, of course, what we need to provide is as well automations. So I think that is something that we're currently really looking into and which I'm still wrapping my head around, like
Okay.
which processes really can be efficiently automated so that I make the operations for them easier and they can really focus. So the whole idea with AI in our business is for my department, because of course
Right.
every department is
Is gonna use it
implementing it and
differently.
doing
Yeah.
different things. But for
Agreed.
my department is to take the small tasks away from the agents so that they can kind of like automate certain tasks, which are very manual, they take a
Hmm.
long time, and they just have been like this because this is just what we
That's
used
just
to,
how
right?
you've
So
done it.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, and then you don't look into the processes and you don't see the opportunities. So I
Hmm.
think to free them off this and so that they can spend the actual time face to or not face to face, call to call with
Right.
our members so that they
Right.
can have this interactions, which is why the members call in. So I think it's interesting, and every day we pivot, but it's what we have to do, right?
I love what you said there, Johanna, about the pivoting too, because I find if your mindset's creative and you're curious and you also want to try innovating in different ways, like it could almost be so endless a path, so to speak, in terms of the different things you can do with AI. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part. I think like that's what I like about it as well as the creativity. My background is in arts and photography,
Oh,
so
yes.
with that
Oh,
as well, yeah.
yeah.
So like I'm always very excited, which is like a whole different thing, right? Like what does AI mean for photography? That's just
That's a
is a
conversation.
big subject. It's a total different one. But I think this mindset, like of the creativity,
Mhm,
I think it comes down to how do I get people excited about using it? One of the conversations I think that came up a long time, and which I think is something that a lot of people jump on very
mhm,
quickly, is and I think it's not the right way, is, oh, we need a prompt library. For me personally, I was thinking about it. It's like a lot of people had come to me and it's like, no, but we should really give them a library of prompts that they can like go through and
mhm.
use. And so we decided, I don't think it's the right approach because that is the old way of doing things, giving somebody a folder with
Oh,
things to look through. And then if you don't find the exact prompt, because every prompt, you have to be creative with it.
you do.
So otherwise, you lose your time. And then if you don't find the right one, that's all the efficiency going down
Hmm.
the drain in the end. For us, what we decided is instead of doing a prompt library, we just kind of did 3 example prompts, very broad, that can be
Mhm.
just kind of mirrored and training out how to create these prompts. But this
Oh,
again,
okay.
who knows, in about 2 months' time,
It could.
these prompts could be looking completely different, but that's a fun thing, right? Like they need to be
Huh.
because every time you're like how you work with AI, you find a different way that works maybe better.
You do. And I think it's even the inspiration from maybe someone else's prompt. I feel like sometimes someone asking the odd question, which they don't think AI like
Yeah.
is a prompt. It's like, oh, sound more human, explain this, integrate this into that, and then all of a sudden it becomes I almost feel like it's like you're cooking. So there's ingredients
Yeah.
you can add into that, and you don't need to restrict yourself to the one recipe you saw, because that might not be your vision. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, no, or like kind of doing 10 questions with your copilot. Just start, like and get
Yeah.
into it. Just thinking, like keep okay. And then in the end you have a really good outcome. But
Yes.
sometimes it won't work.
Sometimes it won't
And
work,
that
and
is that's why you have to keep going.
yeah, it's because I sometimes even think of it as like AI is smart as a concept, as a tool, application, technology. I see it as like a smart, kind of like a smart baby. It's growing up, but you also
Hmm.
sometimes still need to check the homework to make sure that it's actually as accurate as it needs to be. So the human element
Yes.
is still necessary, and it should be.
I think the biggest realizations with
Hmm.
AI as well and with the tools and for the team as well. It's like I always tell them, like, listen, always
Oh,
double check your work. So also coming up with a process, right? Because then
hmm.
you don't want to lose this efficiency you gain through using
Right,
AI. You don't want to lose it in double checking all the work. So like coming up with
right.
processes
The review
there. So
time. Yeah.
yeah, it's also an interesting one that you don't wouldn't think of in the beginning.
There's that myth in our heads that because it's technology and it's, it's computers, Google, like it always will be accurate. Not the fact that
Yeah.
even you as the human involved need to make sure because of the implications for you that this is as accurate, like it is completely accurate and also relevant. Because sometimes
Oh
Copilot
yeah.
might give you something that it could be accurate, but it's not relevant.
Yeah, it's true. You
Yeah.
have to always make sure it's like, hey, no, now circle back to what I
Circle
just
back to
told
what
you before.
if you had to do that, if you like, you have to remind it
Yeah.
that like I gave a prompt 3 prompts ago that actually makes more sense to this. Just refer back to that,
Yeah.
and then let's continue the journey from there.
But that's the fun part because I think it's also a very human thing, right? When we have a conversation, we will like go on and go on, and then it's like, hey, that's actually very far away from where you
From where we
started.
started.
So it could be that it adopted that from conversation, right? Like because it learns from what we do. So
Right,
it
right.
could be that it's like kind of like, oh, people are not upset that we're going this way. So
No,
must be good, the answer.
it was. I think that's even good because I know, like, at the initial stages before, like, let's say a company adopts its policy relative to AI, the usage, Like you have one team member using, I don't know, ChatGPT, another member is using this other tool. So do people still have their preferences for specific tools, or are they like bring all that knowledge together into just one tool across the
Yeah,
board?
so
Yeah.
I think that was one of the challenges. We knew pretty
Ah,
early that the decision would be Copilot, but until
okay.
it then rolls out to everyone. And
Right.
by that time, people already have their personal maybe accounts with different
True.
competitors,
They're
and
testing
then
it. Hmm.
yeah, and then of course they learn how to give them the information that these people like yourself are looking for it. So
Yes.
then when you introduce a new tool, it's exactly that. People are reluctant to change over. One of the thing in our industry, of course, is super important, the PCI requirements that we
Yes.
have kind of things. So I think also explaining again, it's a lot of communication. So
Agree.
just communicating with the operations and explaining the reason why, because I'm a strong believer always if you explain the why behind, then
Hmm.
usually if it is a good why,
Yeah.
then people will adopt it.
They'll
But
adapt. Yeah.
I think that's a challenge for a company that would just start now, for instance, is or somebody in their business that would just want to start now. People will be comfortable with their tool of choice, and there's
Right.
so many good tools out there as well. So it's like there's fine nuances, but like everybody is so fixated on their own.
Tool.
Yeah, we're all creatures of habit, right? So you just go with it.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
And I think then to bring everybody back into one tool and making sure that really no information goes outside of this tool is
Yes,
it's challenging.
it is.
But
Yeah.
you can get again change management, you'll get through it. And I think one of the good thing is to highlight what advantages you have to use a tool
Hmm.
that's connected to your in-house database as well, right? So that's something which is very useful. I'm personally a big fan of Copilot in Outlook, to just say, hey, can you find me this email, and it brings your email and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. So the easy day to days.
You're getting to even get involved in all those different things, the changes, the layers, because what you even said about that, the tool of choice versus coming
Hmm.
together to a unified approach. You're right about people being creatures of habits. And is there another thing you saw that like was like kind of a tough part of bringing that AI conversation into your organization? Because some people are afraid of technology. Let's be honest, and some
Yeah.
aren't, and there's others in between.
I think what was good was we had a very clear direction
Mm,
early on. We decided to take a stance on we are going to embrace, because also in our industry, right? Like we could have just said, oh, and there is businesses that have done that where it's
right,
like, hey, we're gonna replace agents with AI, with
completely
AI, and we
robots.
wouldn't want to do this, right? Yeah.
Right, right.
So, so I think it was good and reassuring to know this from the beginning. And then it's like I felt we were trying to really understand and get it right. So
Mhm.
early on, we did all the leadership, we did AI training and kind of understanding, seeing the different tools, and then the same from the beginning. I tried to volunteer for kind of any
Oh,
group
okay.
that was out there on how to implement it in the company, because I thought it
Nice.
was very interesting, and I like to use it in my personal life, but I wanted to understand how I can do it best for the business. And I think there's
Business.
so much gain for operations in it.
I think so.
So, yeah, because it's like you want the fun part of the job, or the stuff that you want to focus on is this relationship building with your member on the phone, kind of like the fun planning. So you
Right.
can get rid of all, like with AI, that's my long-term goal, I would say. Like, let's eliminate all the manual, very time-consuming and also boring things like writing
There are
down,
some boring
like
things,
things.
yes. Like
Yeah,
do you mean the documentation even, or like trying to
documentation even,
Oh,
but like
yes.
even I don't
Mm,
know, like maybe the very simple thing that an agent could be getting
right.
really quickly. So like why not like now agent, okay, it's confusing. Our
Oh.
agents are called lifestyle managers. So my
Sorry, yes.
lifestyle managers versus the
Not the AI
agent.
agent, yes.
The AI agent. But we also actually have developed as a company an agent which they named Talia, but like that is
Oh.
basically doing so it can be connected to WhatsApp and to kind of chat and things, and you can do a
Oh.
lifetime bookings. It has like it's directly connected with different suppliers. So like these little things things which maybe it's not as exciting to do a quick, like we still put all of our effort into it,
Right.
like a quick dinner booking. But
Right.
the fun thing is if somebody calls in and says like, hey, I want to do a lifetime trip and I want to go to Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, things like
Oh, a
that,
number of
like
places.
different
Yes.
kinds.
Hmm.
So you get excited and you can guide them along the way. But then again, like, can you, maybe I haven't traveled there, but I want to make the member excited. So why not be able to use the AI on this side to kind of understand a little bit more about it? But then you do full research and then you like help them.
Oh,
So I think
incorporated into
it's
the
a,
experience.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I think like there's a lot of opportunities. We don't have everything yet, right? But that's
it's a
what it is,
journey.
right? It's like a learning. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
learning experience. It's a journey. And I think you have to be okay with it. That also sometimes maybe what you have been focused on for like that you think it's the right way,
Hmm.
it's trial and error. If it's
It
not
is trial and
working, okay,
error.
maybe this is not working. Maybe we shift it and do something else as our focus
Huh.
next.
That that's a good point. And even with you said it's Talia, right? The
Yeah.
AI. So are your customers getting to give feedback that's helping to adapt it? Maybe it's even the emotional tone, because it is text for, I'm guessing text for the most part. Like the emotional
Yeah.
tone, the interactions, is that
So actually, we're like brand new trialing it at the moment.
oh,
So yeah,
okay.
there is still this is like one of the newest one, but I think it's very exciting because it's like
Hmm.
such different focus than other competitors are focusing on, and
Right,
it's
right.
exciting to see and like how we can develop it. But the tone, what is interesting, it mirrors very different tones. So it really
Oh,
mirrors how you ask it. So everybody gets very different
oh.
answers.
That's interesting. When everything is really synced and flowing, it'll pay well more than dividends towards everything else that you're doing. Because the trial and error part
Yeah.
is probably where some people might not want to invest that time. But if you see the value in it, why not, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like in the long run, it's only gonna benefit. And I
I think
think
so.
where it's kind of like how I imagine.
Hmm.
So I was a child when internet came around, but like I imagine that
Yeah,
businesses were kind of like struggling with the same thing. Do we embrace it? Do we not? It's a lot of unknown, right? And then
true.
it's the same thing. So it's exciting that we have something in our generation right
Like that.
now that we
Actually,
can,
that's true.
like it feels like something new
Huh.
and something exciting. And if you jump on it, it's good. We can't ignore that it's here. And it's
It's true.
something really great if you can incorporate it into your life and benefit from it. So I think at work, definitely it's the way to go.
And I think even on that note, how do you personally, since you're living it right now, and how do you balance the innovation, the wonder, all these different things with the risks and the unknown of AI? Because that the latter half has some people still frozen where they are, unfortunately.
Obviously there's a really real risks,
Of
which
course,
is
yeah.
the share of information. That's
Hmm.
why you need to follow different PCI requirements. Obviously be
Correct.
careful with the information you share, all of this, be smart around it,
Of
right? But
course.
like before we didn't have password encryption, like everybody was
Right.
just going with very simple like passwords. Now everybody goes like you have like one of those softwares that keeps up, which saves my life,
Right.
which keeps all your passwords, and they're
Right.
like really complicated. So I think everything evolves in a way, and there's always risks to whatever technology we use.
That's
And I
true.
think that's something you need to think about, but I think you need to embrace the positive of it, and you need to decide like what will I gain from it? And then if a challenge comes up,
Hmm.
then you address it then and you find a solution to it. You can either solve a problem or don't, right? So you shouldn't focus on the problem before it actually happens. Of course, be risk
Be
adverse
aware of
and
it. Yes.
think like be aware of it. But
Yeah.
like if I just focus on the problem, that's not the solution. I need to focus on the solution.
Oh, that's
That's how I like to think with like there's
huh.
no way around it.
No, I think that's a very interesting and healthy perspective, Johanna, because it's saying that we're not saying that AI has all the answers. There can be challenges that will show up. That being said, you have an innovative mind. You problem solved before. This is just another problem to solve again, and there is an answer somewhere. Don't let the fear of those potential challenges that could show up stop you from even the journey starting.
Exactly. And I think the
Huh.
earlier
Okay.
you embrace it, the better, because then you understand. It's with anything, right?
Right.
Like if you understand it from the beginning, then you can see what has happened and you can anticipate more what will happen as well. So I think it's always good to pioneer, to
Yeah.
think of this in that way.
this even leads to this next point of like, so with what you've even said about that like mindset or perspective, what are some skills that you actually think that leaders will need the most, like kind of in the next 5 years because of AI? Because it's definitely changing for sure.
I think adaptability,
Mm,
flexibility, like you can't be fixed on a certain mindset. You have to be able to change with AI and you
okay.
have to understand, like what is now required. You need to then jump on that. And
Okay.
I think also for leading teams, definitely being excited about it. And because if you're not excited and embracing it, nobody is going to embrace it. Only the ones that are doing it in their own time. It's very
Oh,
difficult for somebody who doesn't like it to
right.
act like they like it. A team, you need like
It's gonna tell
I
at some
think you
point.
need authenticity and transparency for people to it's creating buy-in in the end, right? Like and you need
Oh,
to
yeah, I
when
agree
you
with
want
that.
to roll it out like anything. So for any leader, educate yourself, get to know how it works, have fun with it. Like when you look at tools like things to always get people excited about AI, like Sonos or any kind of like song creating one, like there are so many opportunities to get people excited about it. So find those fun things and then translate it into a business thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I love what you said about have fun with it because I think some people think it's more of it's a work thing for some, so it has to be so rigid and I don't know, like
Yeah.
the idea of that bland gray room that robots like it's so there's no color or life in there and it's just technology
Yeah.
versus where you're actually trying different things and it's a different experience
Yeah,
altogether.
and it's so fascinating what it can do, what you can do. I think that's what you need to show the team. And then obviously, like you'll utilize it for your work processes,
Right,
but
right.
you need to always put the fun into work, right? For
Right.
in order for people to do their best.
Oh yeah, yeah. And even I love what you said there about the transparency because at the end of the day, as a leader, the light that's in you is showcasing wherever you're going. So people want to feel like it's a human touch, like they're talking, like you're not a robot, that they're talking to a human, and
Yeah.
you can express the both the successes and then also maybe the frustrations you're experiencing with AI.
And also the patience, I think.
Yes, yes.
So I think for leaders to have patience, because every person, like you said in the beginning, there's some people who love technology and some people who don't. So you need to be able to work with each person. And if it is the direction that you want to take, then you need to sit and you need to figure out. But I think this is with anything with management, where if you are managing people, you need to tailor it to the
You do
person that
though.
you're managing.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah.
And that honestly, that's a lot of good advice. I'm very thankful for this conversation here. And as we're wrapping up, I think my second last question to you, Johanna, is going to be, I mean, you've given a lot of advice. If there's one more you would want to add to that list for other leaders who are navigating AI, what would it be?
I think the best thing is understand how to prompt. I think play around with different prompts, find what works for you, and also once you educate yourself with it, find and understand how the different agents works. How do you create automations with your agents? Because it's going to help you so much. And
Oh,
then
okay.
really sit down and think which processes you want to automate and what is going to be the biggest gains for you and then prioritize because also one of the things which happens to me a little bit is I get very excited and then I go off and I have like 20 ideas and then I'm like, ooh, I'm going to do all of this.
Oh,
And I think reel it back in
hmm
and think and use AI, go back and forth on your ideas and say, which three should I prioritize right now? And then keep the other
oh,
ones in a parking lot. So that's
hmm.
sometimes what I do because if you go with too many ideas, it's good to bounce back and forth with AI as
I
well,
think
with
so.
Copilot and tell them like, hey, what do you think? Which one is good to focus on right now? Also, never stop using your own mind, obviously.
Yes,
So
to
always
be
be
involved.
critical. Yeah.
That that's good advice because I also use it as like a sounding board as well. Just if it's a plan you're working through and you just need another opinion or thoughts or just even to rate your plan. could even be something as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Or like even have an agent, devil's advocate, you go back and forth. And it's like, it's really good. Like if you have it, but then also still be critical with the answers.
I'm surprised because I feel like you read my last question ahead. So my last question was going to be a bonus to say, what's one prompt you actually, if you wouldn't mind even sharing with the audience, like an interesting prompt that you're like, I find this helpful. Yeah.
For me, you know what? Like, I think what I think is most helpful for me
Mhm.
is just starting with giving my prompt. I always do, I think, like the normal thing, like sit back, take a deep breath,
Right.
let's start. I always tell it like for a great answer, I'll tip you X amount. Let's go with so it and it's fun because I'm always like, I hope it never holds me accountable for those $3,000 tips I'm gonna give because I'd be in big trouble.
That's interesting. Oh my,
But
because you're treating it like a human.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Interesting.
no, yeah. So like it's a lot of those because it learns, right? It observes, right? Like how our interaction and
Yeah.
tipping is one of the big things, especially here in North America.
Oh,
And
I
so,
see.
which, yeah, I don't
That's
think it will maybe
interesting.
work everywhere, but for us, I think
Yeah,
here in North America, it's a big
it
thing. So
is.
if you put that in there, then always ask me the questions back. But I also like to like challenge and start with it as like give me the best prompt for doing
This.
this. It's my favorite one.
Oh,
And then
okay.
go and be like, are you sure that this is the best way? I think you could tweak it in
Dig
this way. And then
deeper.
it goes back and forth and then
That's
yeah, dig
good.
deeper. Let's make it. And then yeah. So I think that one is the most utilized one, I think. Because a lot of time people lose a lot of time creating the prompt, which is
Yes.
great because you can.
Yes.
But I think sometimes just if it gets used to you asking, hey, give me the best prompt, and then, yeah,
It'll be ready.
let's do it this way. Do you
Right.
think, yeah,
Right.
it's time saver?
And oh, that's really good. Any last comments or anything you want to say in regards to that whole navigating that journey of AI?
Just good luck to everybody doing it and enjoy the journey. It's a ride. It's always a ride. It can get frustrating, can get complicated, but like, don't give up. Just go with it
Hmm.
and don't get discouraged. Like the only way to improve is learning from errors along the way.
Right.
The tool will take its time to perfect itself because it needs to learn what you want from it
Mhm.
and the output you want to be created. So I think that's patience and yeah, just enjoy.
To all our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, to what Johanna just said, enjoy the journey with AI because it is an interesting journey. And I do appreciate you, Johanna, sharing your candid and also really fresh creative thoughts. I think creativity is really the big buzzword of the day. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. And thank you once again.